Hey, Shalom. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of the great millstone, the man I learned this truth from. I want to say peace, mercy, and blessings unto all the hopeful elect. The true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, which means he exists or he is to be. The true name of the Son is Yahushai, which means he is the deliverer. We are the Hebrew Israelites. The so-called African Americans, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, Cubans, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, all right, so-called Latino, Hispanic peoples, all right, we make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel. The self-proclaimed white man, Caucasian, they are Esau, Edom, Idumea, according to the Holy Bible, all right, and Jacob and Esau, were twin brothers that came from Isaac and Rebecca. But according to Bible prophecy, they would be separated. They wouldn't be brothers. And Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. And right now, we're at the end of Esau's evil empire. So I have a few articles, all right, all through the Spirit. I pray that this is edifying. This is from End Time Headline, as you can see, all right. Mr. Benjamin vows to finish the job against Persia with support from Nero. All right, and you can read it. Of course, I'm speaking in code, because they're, just using wisdom. They'll give the channel a strike. They'll take the video down, So I wanted to go into this article. It says, the PM, Benjamin, has pledged to finish the job against Persia. All right, now, when you look at Iran, let's do some history real quick. Okay, so you just do a quick Google search. AI overview. In 1935, Reza Shah Pahlavi officially changed the name of Persia to Iran, because in the Bible, you're not gonna find Iran, but you will find Persia. Okay, just type in KJV Persia. Right, and you can look at Ezra, Daniel, the Chronicles. All right, Ezekiel 38 is the one I was going for, because it speaks about Gog, Magog, and Persia. Well, nowadays, it actually happened in 1935, but the name Persia was changed to Iran. Okay, so a huge part of the piece of this puzzle is that the people that are in power that you see, the self-proclaimed white man, they're the children of Esau, Edom. They are the Idumeans. We're in the modern-day Roman Empire. Okay, and these are the modern-day Caesars, if you will. Like, for example, the apostles might say Trump is Nero coming back in the reincarnation. And it makes perfect sense. When you do your history on Nero, he even looks like, how they depict ancient Nero to look, right? But a huge part of this puzzle is that Esau, Edom, World War III is going to happen over there in the Middle East. They even have a quote from Trump saying that. Okay, that's a video. I'm not going to play that video, but I'm sure it's right here. It's from Daily Observer. All right. This is quote unquote from Trump. It says, prophets say world will come to end in the Middle East. This is Trump. This is the words of Trump. Former president and 2024 Republican presidential candidate, and now, he's actually the president, right? Mr. Trump, the 47th. Nero, whatever you want to call him, has addressed the situation in the Middle East as a whole, noting what he believed prophets have said about the region and claiming it would be the location the world would come to an end. Okay, so now you have Benjamin vowing to finish the job against Iran, which Persia, which we know that's over there in the Levant region or the Middle East. All right. Look up the Levant region. If you just look up at a image, there you go, the Levant. And you got the Holy Land. You got Damascus. You got Syria. You got Aleppo. The Gaza stripped. All right, which Mr. the 47 is saying he's gonna take Gaza and he's gonna do a job with it. He's gonna turn it into the Riviera of the Middle East. Okay, and if you know what I'm gonna say, Amalek, what they're doing over there, they're trying to establish a greater. They're pretty much trying to force Genesis 15 and 18, which I'm gonna get. I pray this is making sense, but a huge part of this puzzle is going to go down in the Middle East, and they know it. All right, that's why Trump said what he said. It's Genesis 15 verse 18. And the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, unto thy seed I have given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Okay, so look at the river of Egypt. All right, which is what the Nile, all the way into the river Euphrates. So the people that are in the Holy Land, right, they're not the true Israelites, which is why they refer to themselves as Ish or Israelis, because they're not of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They're actually of the seed of Esau, the Ashkenazi, which they go back to the seed of Amalek. They're imposters, which is why you have a book by Arthur Koestler. It's a book by Arthur Koestler called The 13th Tribe. And in a nutshell, what he's saying in this book is that, if the people in the land are Israelites, then there must have been a 13th tribe. And we know there's only 12 tribes. When you look at Revelation chapter 7, it lists 12,000 from each tribe. There is no 13th tribe, right? So those people in the land are heathen, Gentiles. Right now, the land is being trodden down of Gentiles, and the true people who the land really belong to, they're scattered. Okay, so you have the seed of Amalek that are on the rampage doing the big G word, all right, to those Palestinians, those Iranians, those Persians, those Ishmaelites, and the different people of those lands, okay, because they're trying to take that land for themselves when they don't possess it in its entirety. Now back to the article, it says the PM Benjamin has pledged to finish the job against Persia, emphasizing strong support from the U.S. Number 47, Mr. Trump, the Trump card. Okay, so which that's a major part of the prophecy, man. These two nations, and they are fervent allies. Okay, this is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh Shem Yahushai that he had taken against Babylon. Babylon means confusion, and that's this place, right? During this whole man's campaign, he was talking all about Make America Great Again. With MAGA, that's really an acronym that means witch, sorcerer, warlock. It goes back to witchcraft, where they was doing a spell on you. Because then the way of the New World Order is to bring order through chaos. So they're not going to make this place great again. They're going to collapse the economy, and the new form of order they're going to bring about is the rice device or the haragma, the mark of the beast. Okay, and where they're going to have total control over you. Therefore he the counsel of Yahweh Shem Yahushai that he had taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he had proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Right, America is nothing more than a big experiment of the elites. That's why all your food is genetically modified. That's why there's feminism, women's liberation, the women rule over men. There's battle of sexes. Everybody's divided and angry one of one another. People are restless. People are stressed the hell out. You know, your health insurance is sky high. You can't afford it. Your rent is sky high. You can't afford it. Layoffs are here. Your dollar's devaluated. It's nothing more than a third world country. But the spell is to make you think that you're in the greatest country in the world and that it's not a third world country. In fact, there's other nations such as China, Japan, that are hundreds of years ahead of this place. All right? And the government treat their people better. Okay? It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So when you look at these nations like Russia, Esau, America's the whore, and then you got the beast, NATO, and the EU. But then you got Amalek, the apostles in the Holy Land, they also Esau. Amalek is pretty much like the head tribe of Esau, but they also the least of the flock compared to these other nations, man. Okay, but they're a major piece of the puzzle because of who they're allied with. All right? Picture says 1,000 words. This picture is saying a lot. Okay, and those people over there in the Holy Land, all right, they look at this man Trump as if he's their savior. He's their anointed. Back in this article, this declaration came during a meeting in Jerusalem with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, marking Rubio's inaugural visit to the region since assuming office. Both leaders underscored their commitment to countering Persia's nuclear ambitions and regional influence, right? Because they understand that they've caused so much hatred and they're afraid that if Persia gets nukes, that they're gonna nuke Amalek with it, and they're gonna send nukes over here, right? Benjamin highlighted that the unified stance of the Holy Land and the whore, which, mind you, the nations over there refer to these two nations as Great Satan and Little Satan. So they call Amalek, the imposters in the Holy Land, they refer to them as Little Satan, and they refer to the West, the whore of Babylon, as Great Satan or Big Satan. Okay? And preventing Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons and curbing its aggression. But you're not going to stop these nations from getting nuclear weapons. Okay? And furthermore, Iran is allied with a nation that possesses far superior nuclear capability than the West, and they know that. This is Joel chapter 3. I'm going to jump down to verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. All right? And in this context, the Gentiles represent these different heathen nations, man. All right? Russians, Amalek, people, people in the Holy Land, Elamites, Persians, Ishmaelites, Hamites, different people, different nations of the world, prepare war, right? Because the Lord did say that the third war is coming quickly. Wake up the mighty men, because all these nations, they got their mighty men, they got their men of war, Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. But where they where every men of war from different nations are or will be drawn to is the valley of Jehoshaphat, the Middle East, right? Verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. So, right? So plowshares is a farming tool, right? Tool used to farm. Pruning hook is a tool used to farm, right? But these once, weapons that you will use to farm, they're now being beaten into weapons of war. Okay, so meaning what? Symbolically, these nations are, putting their energy into forming meaningful alliances with more powerful nations that possess nuclear capability so that they can get their hand on nuclear capability, all right? Because they want to beef up their military to be able to withstand the West, because they're speaking great things. They've been speaking great things, man. Let the weak say I am strong. These nations that were once weak, militarily, financially, and economically, in all areas, they were weak, and they were, bound down to the West. They're not doing that anymore. Okay, they're bucking up now. They're saying they're strong. They're popping their shit, so to speak. 11. Assemble yourselves and come all you heathen and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Let the heathen be awakened. That word means to be roused up. And come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, which means the valley of the Most High's judgment. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen around about. And then that's where the Most High is gonna judge the heathen around about. All right, it's gonna happen in the Middle East, specifically in the valley of Jehoshaphat. Right, and the major part of these nations being drawn out for this war is the West and its ally, the 48ers, man. This is Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Okay? Back in the article, in the aftermath of the recent Gaza conflict, Benjamin credited Israeli actions bolstered by the U.S. support with delivering significant setbacks to Persia. He announced the deployment of a negotiating team to Cairo, which that's in Egypt, okay? Which a lot of, you might think those are Hamites, Africans, but actually Ishmael kind of took over that region. And the two Africans got pushed to the south. All right? To advance the initial phase of the ceasefire established on January 19th, this move aims to address critical issues such as the release of hostages and territorial de-escalation. The 47th Middle East policy has been marked by a set of strategies, including a controversial proposal to redevelop Gaza without allowing the return of its displaced Palestinian population, which means other places like Jordan, Turkey would have to open up, and allow those people to come in, and that will put strain on them and their society. Okay, so it's causing a lot of tension, a lot of friction, a lot of hatred and animosity with those people over there, man. All right, against Esau. This plan has faced criticism from Palestinian leaders and regional allies who view it as a potential threat to Palestinian independence and regional stability. In response to Benjamin's statements, Iran's foreign minister dismissed the threats from Israel and the U.S., asserting that such actions violate international law and will be ineffective against Iran. Despite facing challenges, Iran maintains its stance against Western pressures, even as its regional influence has been tested by recent events, including the fall of its ally Bashar al-Assad in Syria. The situation remains fluid, with ongoing negotiations and international scrutiny shaping the future of the region. So what is this? This is wars and rumors of wars. And the Lord said such things must needs be. Right? This other article talks about the pestilence. It's also from End Time Headlines. Minnesota has declared a state of emergency over outbreak trifecta of diseases. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has declared a state of emergency in response to a concurrent outbreak of 3 significant diseases affecting both humans and animals across the state. The declaration aims to mobilize resources and coordinate efforts to mitigate the spread and impact of these diseases. Since April 2024, Minnesota has experienced a surge in avian metapneumovirus cases, a respiratory pathogen primarily affecting turkeys and chickens. The state has reported 871 MPV positive tests, though this figure likely underrepresents the true number of cases due to underreporting. The virus leads to decreased egg production and increased mortality in poultry, posing a substantial threat to Minnesota's poultry industry. In response, the emergency declaration facilitates enhanced surveillance, biosecurity measures, and support for affected farmers. Concurrently, a severe E. coli outbreak has been traced to contaminated bad carrots distributed by Grimway Farms under various brand names, including Trader Joe's and Wegmans. The outbreak has resulted in 39 reported infections across 18 states, with Minnesota among the most affected. 15 individuals have been hospitalized, and at least one unalive has been reported. The contaminated products sold between August 14 and October 23, 2024 have been recalled. Health officials urge consumers to discard any potential affected carrots, and to practice proper food handling to prevent further infections. Respiratory illnesses in educational long-term care settings. The state has also observed a rise in acute respiratory illnesses within K-12 schools and long-term care facilities. The Minnesota Department of Health monitored these outbreaks, noting an increase in cases of influenza, RSV, and N19. Schools and care facilities are implementing preventive measures including enhanced hygiene practices, V campaigns, and temporary closures when necessary to curb the spread of the illnesses. Okay, so there's there's a lot of shit happening, man. So there's your wars, your rumors of wars. Meanwhile, in Babylon, U.S. restaurants are cracking under inflation. There's more hell, but wasn't Mr. the 47 supposed to make Babylon great again? Right, before I touch on that, let's get the precept in Mark 13. This is Mark chapter 13 and verse 7. I'll get right to the point. And when you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must needs be, but the end shall not be yet. So we need these things to happen. We need the alliance between big Satan and little Satan to grow stronger. We need them to come and jump in the water for little Satan. Okay? Because when they do that, they jump in the water to go against Iran. But then, just like Amalek or the 1948ers have the West as an ally, Iran has an ally too. It's Russia. Okay, so it's like you bring your, it's a 2-on-2, if you will. It's a tag team match, right? But then other nations going to get involved. That's why it's called a world war, right? World war, because it's not just going to be Israel, the U.S. and Russia and Iran. No, other nations are going to see it as an opportunity to try to take the West down and try to establish their own sovereign nation. Right? The scripture says, why does the heathen rage? And, imagine the vain thing, roughly paraphrasing. Because you have all these nations, they think they're going to rule because they see Babylon falling. Mark 13:8. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in divers places, and there shall be famines, scarcity of food, lack of water. All right? Can't afford food, can't afford water, right? Different food factories burning down, things of that nature. Viruses, pestilences such as the BIRDFLU, causing all these recalls. It's causing the famine and troubles. All right, protest. Just people angry, planes dropping out the sky. All these things are different troubles that are happening on the earth. These are the beginning of sorrow. So more signs of the birth pains, man. All right. And the last article, U.S. restaurants are cracking under inflation. Inflation is profoundly impacting the U.S. restaurant industry, particularly breakfast establishments that rely heavily on staples like eggs, coffee, and flour. The surge in ingredient costs, coupled with economic challenges, is forcing many restaurants to raise prices, adjust menus, or even close their doors. And that's right out the scriptures, man. The scripture says the door shall be shut in the streets. So think about it. These restaurants are closing because they can't afford to stay open because nobody wants to pay high ass prices. But that's also feeding the fire of a famine because you can't go to that place to get food anymore. This is Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember thou thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. So in the time of famine, Egyptian against Egyptian, martial law, those are the times of evil, man. Okay? Know the years draw nigh when thou shalt say I have no pleasure in them, because in those days there's not going to be any pleasure in them. Right? 2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, or nor the clouds return after the rain. 3, in a day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few. It's already very, very difficult to find work nowadays. And every day they're laying off thousands of people. I'm talking about crazy numbers, like 10 to 15,000 people are being laid off, losing their jobs. out of price housing. You can't afford to keep a roof over your head. So a lot of people are living out of cars, their own vehicles, or they might rent a U-Haul and then live out that bitch. Or they might just live out a goddamn storage unit, you know. So the grind is ceasing, because if you're grinding, you're working. So that's jobs being cut. All right, and those that look out of the windows being darkened. And a lot of people are starting to see that this country was never great, and there's absolutely no future here. All right. 4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. Banks are closing. You have retail stores closing, such as J.C. Penney, Joann, Big Lots, Party City. And now you got restaurants closing, which is where people go and they eat, closing. Right? When the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird. That's your alarm clock. And the daughters of music shall be brought low. You know, and the music is not even, that's a whole nother lesson. You know, but I just want to do a quick lesson on a lunch break, covering these 3 topics, the economic woes, the tension heating up in the Middle East, and the pestilence that are floating out there, man. So I pray this would have been edifying and informative. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Again, giving double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, and shalom to all of the hopeful elect.